The US economy is in trouble. Listen to me. The US economy is in trouble. Now, I know many of us are going to say no, and trust me, it hurts me to say that, okay? But we're in a situation where there are other countries that are checkmating us as we speak, okay? Here's a couple of reasons why I say that. One of the reasons we don't understand is that we don't produce that much stuff here in America. We're a consuming nation. There's people that are producers and there's people that are the takers, and we're the takers in this situation. We do produce debt, right? Like mortgage-backed securities, and we sell it all over the world. And we do produce weapons of mass destruction, which we sell out to the whole world. But in reality, we're not an exporter of anything that much, very little, okay? However, we're dealing with a country like China, like Russia, that are the producers of the raw material. Now, for example, we may produce X and Y here in America, but we need the raw materials from these other countries because we couldn't build without the raw materials. And so what's happening is that we're having a multiple attack from multiple directions happening to the US citizen like yourself and myself. You're not going to hear what I'm telling you on TV because it's corporate owned media. And these types of things that I'm saying, I could get killed for, right? Be put in prison for because it's not what everyone wants to, to think about. Okay. One of the things I want you to realize is that we're going to have hyperinflation like we've never seen before. I'm not talking about inflation because they printed out too much money. I'm talking about prices going up because there's shortage of supplies, there's shortage of raw materials. When you go to the store, not only are you going to have a price shock, but you're also going to have a inventory shock of, damn, this is not there. On top of that, on another front, on another level, Russia just checkmated us, okay? Because when we sanctioned Russia and we made all their people suffer, right? All these other people around the world just got to see that not have we weaponized the dollar one time, not have we weaponized two times, not three times. At any time that we want, we will use our monetary system like bombs, nuclear bombs, and destroy another economy, the livelihood, them getting medicine, the livelihood of them getting diapers, whatever the story may be, okay? And what that means for us in America is that we're now hangering ourselves by killing the dollar even at a faster rate. So listen to this again. Let me say this again. Our big brothers are hanging us because they're killing the petrodollar as fast as possible. As fast. It was already dying regardless of all the printing that we've done, all the wars we have had, etc. But now we're accelerating it to its death a lot faster for multiple reasons. Because A, we don't produce stuff. B, all the other countries are going to realize that at any time they can be next, which now the dollar is not backed by gold, it's by the faith of other countries and the average person around the world and in America willing to accept it. And they may not want to accept it in the future. Okay. Now, the other thing is that the reason we have such a great life in America is people don't realize is that because we have the world reserve currency. If we don't have the world reserve currency, imagine life being 1,000 times harder. Okay, because we're not going to be able to just print out money and give people around the world fake papers and get their natural resources like bananas, like coffees, like X and Y and Z. Okay, now, so we're at a multi-front war because China and Russia are checkmating us into a situation where we shoot ourselves in the foot, where we hang our own self thinking that we're going to be the police of the world, okay? Thinking whatever the big brother is thinking, because in reality, we're shooting ourselves in our foot. Because if the dollar collapses because the world doesn't want to accept it, we're in deep trouble because A, we don't produce stuff, B, we don't produce the raw material so we can even make it here. Who knows if the countries around the world are willing to trade with us because we've been bullying and everyone. For example, right now, I'm telling you, we're in a deep, massive doo-doo because we're having the American government going to Iran, going to Venezuela, and trying to work a deal out with these people that they've been fighting with for decades. The guy from Venezuela, they've been trying to overthrow this guy just in the last administration. They try to put a hit on this guy, all kinds of stuff. They sanctioned them. They made their people suffer. They couldn't even get bug 19 medicine. Okay. Now we're going over there and we're saying, please give us some gas and oil because inflation is nothing. I predicted back in 2019 that gas prices are going to be $9 a gallon. Everyone laughed at me, but that didn't include World War III. Okay. Now with that, we're maybe looking at anywhere from $19 to maybe $100 a gallon, depending on what direction the foreign policy takes in place. But if we don't go to World War III, at least close to $19 a gallon, okay? Even if, because what's happening, all right? What we don't understand is all this raw resources are coming from other countries. And we're in a tough situation because we printed a whole lot of money. Now, our president says that it's Putin's fault that we have inflation. And, I don't want to disrespect the individual because, he's the president of America. However, I'm not a really smart guy, but I know that printing a whole lot of money and paying everyone free money has to do a lot with the prices of stuff going up. Before the war even happened, the price of everything was going up, even with the Big Brother's rigged inflation numbers, okay? Which I came out and I said that inflation was 25% months ago, because we saw the dollar store going from being $1 to $1.25 in just simple mathematics from watching what the corporations are calculating, okay? So we're in a situation where not only we not have physical confrontation, but in the economic realm, we're going to be devastated if this conflict doesn't end, literally as Americans, because A, we're not going to find stuff. B, when we find it, it's going to be super, super expensive. The average humans in America haven't experienced this type of hardship since over 100 years ago, to the Great Depression, when we had war, when we had famine, we had disease, we had the economy collapse, we had all that stuff. No one has really remembered that. It was 100 years ago almost. So we're heading to that exact time where we're going to have massive amount of pain and suffering, shortage of stuff, and if these guys, don't come to an agreement, that we may be heading into World War III. And I believe, in my opinion, that the swamp, that the military complex wants this. They want World War III. Because they know that their policies has basically ruin a lot of American lives because everyone is in debt. They have to work. The husband has to work. The mother has to work. You look 30 years back, 40 years back, it wasn't like that. Only the dad had to work. Okay. Now let me tell you a story. Me and my dad, we never see anything eye to eye. That's just how we are. He listens to Fox. He listens to CNN. On everything, we have a different positioning. But just the other day, I was talking to him, and the first time ever, and I'm like 40 something years old in my life, I had one thing in common with my dad. And I told him, look, if these guys don't settle this conflict ASAP, we're going to go to World War III. And we're going to have expensive stuff. And what you think is expensive is just the very, very beginning of this whole thing. And he looked at me in my eye and said, you know what, you're 100% right, because he grew up in war. In Iran and Iraq, there was a war for 8 years. There was a shortage of stuff. We would hear sirens and boom, boom, boom. So he knows what it is to stay in line. He knows what it is to have a shortage. He knows what it is to have hyperinflation because of war, okay? So when I told him, hey, this is the beginning of price hikes, okay, if this thing doesn't stop, and he looked me in my eye and he said he agreed with me, I knew that we're in serious trouble because my dad and I have totally different viewpoints about politics, about economy, about entrepreneurship, about everything in life, right? Literally. And this is why I am very, very scared in the sense of uh, to bring this information to you because things are going to go more and more high. And America is in deep trouble because we don't have raw materials. We're about to lose our petrodollar world reserve currency. We just shoot ourselves in the foot. We hanged our own self because of all these sanctions we just done. And the economy is shifting from one pendulum to the other side. When the other side is going to be Russia, it's going to be China, and all these Latin American countries and Africa because they're the actual the real producers for the world. They have the natural resources. They don't consume all of it. Like, for example, we're one of the world's largest producers of energy, but we consume all of it, right? So these people have other countries. Not only do they have the raw materials, not only do they produce it, but they don't consume all of it. They have the savings. For example, one of the main differences between Russia and America is that we're all leveraged out. In Russia, that country has so little debt. And a lot of the people on TV say, well, hey, they're not growing their economy. They're not growing. But what is the point of growth when everyone's in debt, right? So this is where, they're selling us a pipe dream. So anyways, guys, you're not going to hear this on TV. Hard times, there's a high probability of having hard times hit America, hyperinflation, sticker shock, inventory shock, and craziness. But in that craziness is also going to be great opportunity to make money because when there's massive fear, there's going to be great opportunity to make money. And we're seeing companies make tremendous money, and we're seeing companies take significant hits. And watch, the stock market is going to go down like crazy because all these companies are closing down from Russia, like McDonald's and all these other people. Your next reporting, right, to the SEC, you're going to see the numbers down. And when the numbers down, their stocks going to come down. And guess what's happening to the stocks right now? We're having red days, day after day. With more bad news, it's just going to be a tumble down. So in my personal opinion, we were already in a recession that they weren't telling us about. And now we're heading into one of the greatest, craziest depression that we never seen before, with the possibility of end of mankind because of greedy corporations and powerful people that want to send other people's kids to death. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Click the like button. Don't take no for an answer. Always remember, you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and twice as beautiful as you ever imagined. Romy.